Azure Function App sounds complex, but what if I told you they are actually one of the simplest way to run your code in the cloud without worrying about servers? So let's unlock how it really works. Azure Function App is like a container or home where all your serverless functions live. Each function inside it is a small piece of code that does one specific job, like sending an email, processing a file, or responding to a HTTP request. The function app provides the environment like runtime, scaling, monitoring, and each function is your worker doing its assigned task. The beauty is you don't need to worry about servers. Azure runs the functions only when it is required or needed, and you only pay for the time it runs. Let's take a simple analogy. So think of Azure Function as a restaurant kitchen. The function app is a kitchen itself. It has all the tools, setup, and staffs to cook. Each function is like a chef who specializes in one dish. Like for example, one chef makes only pizza, another chef makes salad, another one makes desserts. When a customer, which is a trigger, an event that we will be talking about, right, places an order, the right chefs starts cooking. So for example, a customer places an order of, let's say for example, a customer comes and order a pizza. So the chef who specializes for pizza comes and kicks in and start making pizza. Now, when there is no order, the chefs don't cook, they just wait. So Azure automatically calls the right chef, which is here function, inside your kitchen. Kitchen is nothing but your function app, only when it is needed. This video is part of AZ204 video series. We were building a lot of stuff with Azure services that is mainly focused on AZ204 study. This website is the website that was built only for this series, and we are referring to this study guide. And if you scroll down now, we are focusing on these sections. As part of this video, we'll be able to set up Azure Function App in Portal, and in the next following up videos we will do different Azure functions. I hope you already have an existing login. If not, there are plenty of videos on the channel how to get started with Azure account. For newcomers, it's $200 free. For others, always Azure functions are anyway free. Okay, now when you come to this portal.azure.com, you can search with Azure Function. You'll see this kind of a thunder symbol. If you click here, I already have these many Azure functions. Like we already explained, Azure functions are a group of many small pieces of function. So small functions grouped together is called Azure Function App. So every single thing here is a function app. We're going to create a new function app. Let's click on create, and when you create, there are several options. Earlier it was not having this much of option, but these are the hosting plans. So it starts with flex consumption, and all of the things. What we will do is, because it's just for demo purpose, we will use the consumption plan. But from AZ204 perspective, you should know what are the difference of each plan. So for example, if you consider these two plans, you can see how many scale out can happen. Automatically Azure can multiply your number of apps based on the load. This can go up to 200, this can go up to 1000. This is always ready. This it's like, if you don't use your function app, it can go to sleep mode, but this is not the way it goes to sleep mode. That's the difference. This is for high scalability and the compute choice. Okay, there's a difference in the price, but for anyone who uses Azure Function, 1 million requests is free, which means 1 million requests is 100,000 requests are free. And if you see these things, right, premium function, like you can have these event driven, minimum of one instance required, maximum scale out, app service, like you always pay for a price whether you run the app or not. If you choose this, you'll always pay for the price. And this one is the container environment. So these are the different one. We'll go and choose the consumption plan. So once you select, there's a bunch of stuff that you need to add here. So we were dealing with this many different subscriptions. So I'm going to choose this subscription because that's the one that I'm showing you guys for demo. For resource group, we can create like this. See, RG. So basically you can create RG. So I'm going to create like this. It's a meaningful name. Function app. See, you need to provide a function app. So for example, so this makes us unique one. See, this is a unique one, and you can choose which part of OS you want, because .NET Core can run in both. You can choose whatever you want, depends on, like, company. Generally speaking, Azure functions can run in Windows, so choosing Windows will have low cost, because Windows is owned by Microsoft. Now runtime, you can choose .NET, and it says what are the version. 9 is the version that we're going to choose, and you can choose East US. I mean, it's the closest region where this application needs to be deployed. See, most of the users get confused here. Region is like, for example, right, you are running a company. The company is in US, for example. Your customers are going to be in US. So, and not only that, your data generally you don't want to be sitting in other countries, other region, right? So you will generally choose your country. So if a business is running from India, the customers are most likely going to be from India. So they will choose India based region. There are India based region as well here. So that's what it is, West India, right? So it depends on what business, who is doing, where they want to deploy. So this is important. Okay, for me this is closest, so I'm choosing this. Depends on what you are going to do in your real life, real project. It depends. Okay, now we just need to understand this. Next is storage. For every single Azure function, you need to have a storage account. See, it also shows it needs to have a storage account, and it will create if you don't have a storage account. And you can also use this without Azure files. You have to manually deploy. This is fine. Okay, you can manually deploy the code. We don't need Azure file connections. Basically, this is to set up the continuous integration, but we don't need this where the data are sitting in Azure Blob Storage. Okay, now do you want to configure this diagnostic setting? You can configure it later also, but this is the place where you set up the diagnostic settings. Next is networking. You can switch on, and this is not even applicable for our plan. Next is monitoring. Monitoring is like application insights. Application insights are very useful to determine what errors are happening. So we will go with yes. Deployment, I don't want to deploy anything now, so I'm going to choose disable, which is fine. Basic authentication, you have to disable. That's not the right way of doing it, so do not enable it. Authentication. So basically, these are the resource authentication basically. Okay, so it's saying from what kind of authentication it can use. See, if you look at this, for best security practice, use managed identity authentication when available. In our channel we have managed identity and service principal details. Okay, it's an identity, managed identity also we have explained, user identity also explained, system identity. All of those things are part of Azure important concepts which was already covered in the channel. So please go and check out this, but this is just for the authentication purpose. Next is we have to provide the tags, and then finally we can go ahead and click on create. So once the Azure function is created, we can deploy the code from our developed code which is there sitting in our local. We can deploy it here, which we will see it in this video. Okay, so deployment is done. Let's take a high level of what it is. So we go to resource. You will see a lot of stuffs here, right? To your left side, which is called the side menu, under the overview, it shows you under which resource group it is running, what is your domain name. This is the domain base URL. It also shows about the operating system, what kind of plan you have, all of those information. See some notifications also there. To the left side, what you need to know is about the log stream, where we will be able to set up the see what's happening with the Azure functions. You can see the live stream here, and Azure function keys. These are the function keys that we are referring to. If you click on the function key, there are two function keys. One is the master key, one is the default key. You can use the default key for running a function. And if you come to this overview, under the function, right now there is no function. See, there is no function. So in the next video, we will be talking about HTTP trigger function. Once we build that function in Visual Studio, we'll be able to deploy this to this function app, and you will see those functions here. The other things that you need to understand is about the deployment. This is something that you can set up for the function app to deploy, and these are the settings. Configuration, if you go, you will be able to see the Azure Function App configuration, and under the environmental variable you'll have two things called app settings and connection string. Basically you can set up those values here, which also will be covered in the next video. All right, and there are many more stuff which we may not be required to cover everything for AZ204, but these are the basics. As we progress with different HTTP functions, as we progress with different Azure functions, you will learn more in this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, do post it in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Happy coding!